It's Friday, June 26th. In the headlines in local news, new minimum wage takes effect July 1. In business news, we have the latest market updates and more. Regionally, Caribbean rallies behind Venezuela as rescue efforts progress. And in sports, Jamaican Olympians honored in night of tribute and reflection. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Brittany Clark. Effective July 1, 2026, the national minimum wage in Jamaica is $17,000 per 40-hour work week. Labor and Social Security Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says this rate applies to all general workers. This includes private industrial security guards. The change was discussed in this week's sitting of the House of Representatives.
As outlined in Section 3 of the Minimum Wage Act, the Minister is empowered to fix minimum wage rates by this order. This includes the power to set specific rates for occupations where current wages are unreasonably low, as well as the power to establish a general national minimum wage if deemed desirable. This is a responsibility, Mr. Speaker, that must be exercised carefully and thoughtfully. It requires balancing the legitimate needs of our workers for fair and adequate compensation with the need to maintain a stable economic environment in which businesses can continue to grow, to invest, and to create employment opportunities.
Mr. Charles says the government acknowledges the reality facing minimum wage earners.
We acknowledge the reality facing our minimum wage earners. And as a government, we do continue to increase the floor we have in order to better provide opportunity for those workers to be able to meet their daily expenses.
Over the last 10 years, the government has increased the minimum wage on several occasions, improving it from $6,200 in 2016 to $17,000 in 2026. Once the order takes effect, every employer is legally mandated to pay wages at a rate no less than the prescribed national minimum. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the concerns of nurses at the University Hospital of the West Indies should be addressed through the recently signed accountability framework in public health institutions. The framework sets clear standards for monitoring performance and enforcing consequences. Simone Absalom-Gale gives us more details in this report.
On Tuesday, the nurses protested over overcrowding and inadequate patient care equipment at the Accident and Emergency Department.
It is not just a yesterday issue, it's a chronic issue here. We have been dealing with it and we have been trying to make blood out of stone, and it's not, we just cannot do it anymore. We are fed up, we are tired, we are overstimulated, we are overworked because one nurse cannot take on 20, 30 patients. And we cannot function in 3 different areas. That is unsafe. And we want something to be done about it now.
But the health minister, in his response, says it's not always about resources. Noting the complaint that there are not enough beds in the department, he says upon investigation, it was discovered that 50 beds were indeed available to the department.
It clearly shows that the bed management arrangements fell down, and the relationship or communication between the persons on the wards and in A&E has an issue, and that needs to be addressed through leadership and management.
He says the same would apply for a facilities department. He argues that managers need to be held accountable.
And that's what the accountability framework is, and that's the call that is being made. These things can be avoided if everybody plays their part. And it is important that we demonstrate where people are playing their role and where persons are not.
The Health and Wellness Minister says unions should become aware of the content of the framework so as to properly guide their members. Once fully operational, it should engender effective financial tracking, procurement, governance, and patient experience. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Simone Absalom Gale.
The Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information will establish a boys' committee to identify and implement strategies aimed at improving the academic performance of male students. The move follows the release of the 2026 PEP results, which showed that girls continue to outperform boys in key subject areas. In language arts, 80.2% of girls achieved proficiency compared to 63.5% of boys. While in mathematics, 73.2% of girls were proficient compared to 64.9% of boys.
Our boys, generally, when we look on the data, same for PEP and for CSEC and CAPE, we see the fact that our boys are performing below the level of our girls. We see it in the tertiary institutions. When you go into the classroom, you see more girls than you see boys. It is very important that we understand this issue and to actually treat with it. As I said earlier this week, you cannot have a successful country with one gender moving and the other not. Mm-hmm. Both have to be rising together. And so that's why we're putting together the Boys Committee. I'm happy that I saw the top 7 of the top 10 being boys. That's amazing, and that is really good. But what that tells us is that our boys can achieve at the level of the girls. And we have to put in place programs across the board that deal with this.
Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon encouraged school leaders to share successful approaches so they can be evaluated and potentially implemented across the education system.
We have some schools that are trying different innovations. They're structuring the classroom differently, doing more breaks. You have some schools that have actually split boys and girls during the PEP years. Some of them are seeing results. We have to study those results more. But we also are doing it very scientific. In the ministry, we use data.
Dr. Morris-Dixon also pointed out that the underperformance of boys is a regional concern and will be among the issues discussed at a UNESCO event scheduled to take place in Jamaica later this year. The Education Minister was speaking at this week's post-cabinet press brief. Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. Future Energy Source Company, which trades as FESCO, has raised 600 million Jamaican dollars on the local bond market for paying down its debt and expansion purposes. Set to mature in 2030, the 4-year corporate bond was arranged by NCB Capital Markets and the JCSD Trustee Services as trustee. FESCO operates a chain of retail fuel stations, marketing and distributing petroleum products, including LPG in Jamaica, with a network of branded company or dealer-operated service stations, LPG filling plants, retail, and depot locations. NCB Capital Markets Assistant Vice President Origination and Structuring, Richard Samo, commented, I quote, "We are proud to partner with ambitious Jamaican businesses like FESCO, leveraging the depth of our expertise and underwriting capacity to deliver financing solutions that help them achieve their long-term goals and create lasting value," end quote. The Bank of Jamaica injected US $30 million into the foreign exchange market on Thursday morning as part of efforts to support the exchange rate. However, demand for foreign exchange exceeded the amount supplied, with an excess demand of US $53 million recorded. The central bank received 48 bids from commercial banks and cambios valued at $83 million, but accepted only 16 bids, amounting to $30 million made available. Among the other major purchasers were Barita Investments, which bought $6 million US, JMB Securities with $5.6 million US, and NCB with $4 million US. For the trading period of June 25, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Dollar Financial Services Limited with 15,320,713 units, representing 28.17% of market sales activities. Kentire Holdings Jamaica Limited with 11,869,111 units, representing 21.83% of market sales activities. Trans Jamaica Highway Limited with 9,647,678 units, representing 17.74% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in transportation and distribution plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for June 25, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $157.70 and buying at $156.55. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by $1.17 transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $111.99 and was bought for $110.82. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of $1.04 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $207.64 and was bought for $206.60. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, financial recovery isn't about getting your old life back. It's about making the next right financial decision. And this is where your credit report sets the stage. Imagine a 58-year-old woman navigating divorce, uncertain property rights, and the loss of her rental home. She wants to buy a home without a mortgage, but her income doesn't support the location she prefers. What should she do? Well, instead of focusing on what she's lost, she should focus on what she can control. So we would recommend finalize all legal and property matters, know exactly what assets and income are available, build a realistic housing budget based on affordability, not emotion, choose a home that protects cash flow and retirement security. View each decision as a stepping stone, not a final destination. And the best financial decisions aren't always the most exciting. They're the ones that create options for tomorrow. And that's why it's important to take time to understand your credit report. One informed decision today can become the foundation for your next chapter tomorrow. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital, markets, and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, international rescue teams continue searching for survivors in Venezuela after twin earthquakes killed at least 235 people and injured more than 4,300. Swiss and Mexican rescue crews have joined local responders in Caracas and La Guaira, where people are still believed to be trapped beneath collapsed buildings. Hospitals in the hardest hit areas remain overwhelmed and are facing critical shortages of medical supplies, while authorities say the search and rescue effort remains their top priority. The back-to-back earthquakes measuring 7.2 and 7.5 in magnitude struck just 39 seconds apart and are the strongest to hit Venezuela since 1900. Regional leaders have expressed solidarity with Venezuela following the disaster. The Caribbean community CARICOM extended condolences to the victims and pledged its support, while Guyana has offered assistance to its South American neighbor. Jamaica has also conveyed condolences to the government and people of Venezuela, expressing sympathy to families affected by the tragedy and wishing a speedy recovery to those injured. As global maritime instability rattles trade routes and rattles economies, Guyana is charting its own course, deepening shipping capacity and strengthening its blue economy in a bid to stay resilient against an increasingly uncertain world. The details from Newsroom Guyana.
Speaking recently at the 5th Regional Meeting of Directors and Heads of Maritime Administrations, President of the Shipping Association of Guyana, Komal Samaru, said disruptions to global trade routes, particularly instability in the Red Sea and mounting tensions surrounding the Strait of Hormuz, carry direct consequences for the Caribbean.
For the Caribbean, where maritime transport is essential for food, energy, and trade, these disruptions can have serious consequences for economic stability and the well-being of our citizens.
He said CARICOM faces challenges when trade routes are disrupted, and it affects the cost of living and access to essential goods. He called for more support to build greener shipping while ensuring any energy transition is equitable, affordable, and responsive to the realities of developing nations. Parliamentary Secretary and Director of Legal Services at the Maritime Administration Department, MARAD, Dandai McAllister, said the meeting gives Guyana and regional partners the opportunity to strengthen collaboration on maritime safety, environmental protection, and capacity building.
The challenges we as a Caribbean experience do not know boundaries. When issues like climate change, cyber attacks, and unsafe ship practices, none stay at any singular port. None at Trinidad, none at Barbados. We are all impacted. The sea is one.
Minister of Public Works Juan Edgell also said the sustainable use of waters and ocean resources demands urgent attention.
It is believed that anytime the world goes to a next war, a world war, it will not be about oil, it will be about water and the sustainable use of water and access to fresh water.
In the meantime, Guyana is actively working to position itself as both a maritime and aviation hub, with port modernization and digitization already underway. For the newsroom, Lazina Yearwood.
Antigua and Barbuda's top diplomat in Washington, D.C., Sir Ronald Sanders, is calling for stronger funding and institutional independence for the Organization of American States. The veteran diplomat has issued the dire warning as he insisted that the OAS is under financial and political strain. Sir Ronald was addressing the Hemispheric Grouping's General Assembly in Panama City. ABS News' Alicia George reports.
According to Sir Ronald, the OAS is the only institution where almost all independent states of this hemisphere meet regularly for dialogue, cooperation, and collective action. There is no substitute for it. All while he warned that the OAS was facing serious financial constraints.
The proposed 2027 program budget increases funding by approximately $2.5 billion over 2026, largely to address inflation and cost of living adjustments. It does not address the $16.7 million in unfunded and underfunded needs identified by the General Secretariat.
While the budget keeps day-to-day operations running, he warned it does not fully finance the organization's agreed mandates. Sir Ronald noted chronic underfunding was affecting anti-corruption work, security programs, climate resilience initiatives, and human rights mechanisms.
Antigua and Barbuda supported this budget to ensure continuity of operations, but not because the budget resolved the organization's structural financial challenges.
He also emphasized the need for stronger accountability, broader participation, and respect among member states, warning that financial constraints also risk weakening the organization's effectiveness at a time when regional cooperation is increasingly important.
Antigua and Barbuda values this organization and believes it can do more for the peoples of the Americas. But doing more requires an OAS that is consensus-driven, adequately financed, accountable, modern, and responsive.
He said the resolution to the OAS's financial problems would involve both technical and political decisions. Alicia George for ABS News.
In sports, we lead off with some heartening news. Jamaica's Olympians and sports legends came together for a special night of gratitude, reflection, and celebration, a heartfelt tribute to their dedication and the inspiring legacy that puts Jamaica on the world stage. Marlon Samuels has more in this report.
The National Association of Jamaican Olympians hosted an inspiring evening to honor the hard work and achievements of Jamaica's sporting heroes.
Part of the mandate of the National Association of Jamaican Olympians is to honor our Olympians through all phases of their life. And so we feel that this function is a good way not only to honor Olympians, but also to remind everyone of what some of our trailblazers have done in the past.
From former Olympians to coaches and sports officials, they celebrated those who have helped build Jamaica's proud sports tradition.
We also honor those who are behind the scene, administrators, maybe track referees, physiotherapists, as we are tonight. We're honoring some of those who work behind the scenes and make it happen for the Olympians.
It was started in 1984 in New York. We honored Herb McKinley. As you know, Herb McKinley is one of the heroes of Jamaica and also the national coach. So we wanted to show some gratitude, so we had it in New York for him.
All of a sudden it dawned on us that we are now successful because of Herb McKinley. And we had that big function in New York for him to say thanks. And in 2016 we celebrated Neville Maiton, who was celebrating 50 years of an unbroken record in the 800 yards.
They highlighted icons like Grace Jackson, David Weller with his Olympic cycling bronze, and Nigella Sanders, whose relentless drive has inspired us all. The event paid tribute to their sacrifices, resilience, and outstanding accomplishments that have motivated and continues to motivate generations.
It feels great to be recognized, being the only Olympian of the sport of badminton. I didn't expect it, I realized that a lot of the other awardees are much older than I am, so to be recognized this quickly is great.
I actually feel very honored to be here, be invited to be here, and I'm very impressed that there continues to be some kind of recognition of athletes from years ago. Not that, I'm necessarily always wanted to be acknowledged, but I think there are a lot of athletes who have done really well for Jamaica. And it is great to see somebody pay attention.
It's not something that I expect. It's not something that you think about that would happen. Life has taught me that. And so the fact that it is being done, I'm thankful, and it's a good feeling about it. Vilma Charlton understands that. I mean, she was much earlier than me as an athlete, and she would have experienced similar things that I have over time experienced. And one day she said, we need to get together years ago and be able to recognize our fellow Olympians.
It also reminded us of the importance of nurturing future champions and keeping Jamaica's reputation as an athletic powerhouse alive.
Well, usually after the glory has faded and people have moved on with their lives, we are forgotten about. So it's a way for us to let our Olympians, the ones who represented us in the past, know that we still remember them and their work is still valuable to us. But for especially the administrators, we want to make sure that they get seen. They are usually the ones who work behind the scenes, who nobody ever hears their names, nobody ever sees the work that they do to make it possible for us to compete. And so we wanted to make sure that we offered some way of just saying thank you to the administrators, the coaches, and those who are around the sport.
The legacy lives on, inspiring new heroes to reach even higher and achieve greatness. For the news on PBCJ, I am Marlon Samuels.
In football, the race for places in the FIFA World Cup round of 32 intensified on Thursday as the final Group D, E, and F matches delivered plenty of drama. In Group E, Ecuador stunned Germany with a 2-1 victory to finish their campaign on a high, while Côte d'Ivoire secured a comfortable 2-0 win over Curaçao. Over in Group F, the Netherlands defeated Tunisia 3-1 to strengthen their position, while Japan and Sweden shared the points in a 1-1 draw. Group D produced the biggest thriller of the day, with Turkey edging the United States 3-2 in a 5-goal contest. Meanwhile, Paraguay and Australia battled to a scoreless draw. The World Cup continues today with decisive Group G, H, and I fixtures, including Norway against France, Senegal facing Iraq, Uruguay taking on Spain, and Cape Verde meeting Saudi Arabia, and Belgium facing New Zealand, while Egypt squares off against Iran. As excitement continues to build around the FIFA World Cup, fans are already making their predictions. From football powerhouses to surprise contenders, opinions vary. Our reporter Chanel Matthews took to the streets to find out which country people believe will lift the trophy.
I am Chanel Matthews and this is Unfiltered. We're in World Cup season. Who do you think will win World Cup and why? We spoke to football fans to hear their predictions.
Portugal, because Ronaldo is playing and Ronaldo is the best baller out there. Nobody else.
They don't mind the share, but I think France is going to win because Mbappe is the GOAT, and yes,
Brazil is going to win. Just because Brazil is going to win.
I believe Argentina will defend the World Cup because they have a team that is coming together, and by the time it gets to the semi-final, they'll get to the final and defend successfully.
Yeah, my leaning is that France will come out victorious. I'm looking at Argentina, but in the end I think France will be the victor.
Well, Brazil should win the World Cup. Reason being, it has been some 20 odd years now since they last win the World Cup. And the first time Brazil did win the World Cup was in the United States. So I'm expecting Brazil to come through this World Cup. And we have a good side, so yeah, Brazil for me.
I personally, I think it's between England and France. The reason being, those two teams have strength in depth. England very tactical, and France have a good bench. So I personally think England is in my heart, but I still like the French. So I think this is between the English and the French.
Argentina, we have the best team. Always have the best team. We're going to win back-to-back. Not a long time a country don't do that, so back-to-back. Argentina.
Germany, my side. Yeah.
One Brazil, always Brazil. From my little youth, I saw them win '94 World Cup. My father explained to me what going on. See them in '98, see them in 2002, win it back. Kaká, my favorite player of all time. So one Brazil.
Netherlands for the money. I'm going to tell you something. No people understand what Netherlands is. Never lose a match coming in World Cup. Never. Now 3 times we got a World Cup final, I will never make it. But God can bless us this year. Up and out. Netherlands for the money.
I think Brazil will win the World Cup because we have a very strong squad, a rich football tradition and talented players. One Vinny on the app, one Vinny on the wing.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.